Hey.
Alright, we are finally back. We are in yet another new setup. It's taken me a little bit to get some videos out, and I apologize for that. I should have one dropping yesterday as you're seeing this, and we are getting back on track as the NBA season is approaching us. I think we're 33 days away from the first regular season game, so that's all super exciting. Don't make fun of me for my walls right now. I just moved in. I haven't put shit up yet. My bad. But I'm back on the mic because we have some recent Celtics news where apparently it has been announced that Jayson Tatum will, I don't want to say be taking over the point guard position, but he essentially is going to be slotted in as the team's main point guard and playmaking guard. And initially, I'm just not quite sure how to feel about it. Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way right out of the gate is I believe in Jayson Tatum as a playmaker. He's averaged a little over 4 assists in his past 3 seasons. While that might not jump off the page at you, if you actually do watch the Celtics games, he has handled a lot of playmaking chops over the past couple of seasons. Especially last season, he really took a next step in just manipulating defenses, making skip passes, making good reads off the drive, stuff like that. That doesn't always show up in the box scores. So you might be saying to yourself, if he's such a good playmaker, then why am I worried about him being the starting point guard or just, initial playmaker for this Boston Celtics team? And I'll tell you why. Despite the fact that Jaylen Brown has turned into a very reliable second scoring option, Jayson Tatum just remains having a huge load on his shoulders to be the bucket getter for the Celtics team. At least that's been the case for the past season or two. Most of the time when the Celtics find themselves struggling, it's because Jayson Tatum is struggling, and there's usually no one else that really steps up outside of, the occasional Jaylen Brown game. But even sometimes that's not enough to get them the win in the end. So with Jayson Tatum already handling such a huge responsibility to score the ball and create scoring opportunities for the Celtics, I'm just not sure if it's the best idea to now throw him the top playmaking responsibilities as well. I remember a time just a couple of years ago where Celtics fans would complain nonstop about not having a true point guard. Obviously, Marcus Smart then took over the mantle as starting point guard, and the Celtics went to the finals and made it back to the Eastern Conference Finals and were a game away from a second finals this past season with Marcus Smart as the starting point guard. And it worked brilliantly because Smart wasn't by any means a traditional point guard. He was more of a 2 guard when he came into the league, but he ultimately developed really good passing and playmaking skills that made it so that he could be the primary, playmaking guard. And then you could give guys like Tatum and Jaylen Brown secondary or tertiary operating, possessions where they're the lead playmaker. And it just flowed pretty smoothly for the Celtics. But now, after losing Marcus Smart in the trade to the Grizzlies, Derek White is projected to be the starting point guard, and although he's also a perfectly fine passer and connective guy who knows how to make the right play with the ball, he's by no means as good of a point guard or just as good at managing the offense as Smart was. And so I think putting that responsibility on Tatum might just be a little bit too much, management-wise for him. Plus, you have to throw in the fact that Jayson Tatum is not like a lot of other NBA superstars where he does not rest a lot. He plays as much as possible, and while from a fan perspective, that's awesome and really fun to watch and enjoy, it's not the best thing for him from a basketball perspective because he's logging a ton of minutes, he's putting a lot of wear and tear on his body, and now if he's going to be handling the ball even more than he already has been, that's just going to be even more pressure on him and more wear and tear that it just might overwork him at some point. Now, bringing back the Marcus Smart trade, this is part of the reason why I am slowly growing on the idea of Jayson Tatum as the, makeshift starting point guard. And that's because they brought in Kristaps Porzingis. Now, the Celtics have been a two-headed monster offensively the past couple of seasons, again with Tatum and Brown leading the attack and being the primary scorers. And then guys like Marcus Smart, Derek White, Al Horford would chip in every now and then, and it'd be a group effort to get the rest of the points for the team to win. Now with Kristaps Porzingis in the mix, that's another solidified 20 plus point per game scorer on the roster that can take some of the scoring load off of Jayson Tatum and just offer more offense than Marcus Smart did, even though there's the defensive setback, but we're not talking about that in this video. If Tatum does end up being and maintaining control as the makeshift point guard for this Celtics team, I can see it working out in the sense that you give Jaylen Brown a boost and you run more plays for him. Obviously, you're going to run some plays for Porzingis, and that will help take some of the scoring load off of Jayson Tatum, and that will hopefully bring more balance to his game, whereas in past years, like I've mentioned, it's pretty much been Jayson Tatum being the go-to scoring guy, and he has all of these scoring responsibilities on him. So now, hopefully, he can even it out, have some more playmaking opportunities while having less scoring opportunities. So that way you're not overworking him and he's not dead by the time the postseason comes around. At the end of the day, it's never a bad idea to get the ball in the hands of your best player as much as possible. And that's another reason why I am, again, slowly growing on this idea. But I am also going to be patient and see how things go. Maybe this is just something that they experiment with for the first couple of weeks or couple months of the season, and then they regress back to their old ways. Or maybe they find that this is a solution to their offense that they've been looking for, and Jayson Tatum absolutely kills it in the point forward or makeshift point guard role, whatever you want to call it. Either way, I think it will be exciting to see Jayson Tatum continue to evolve his game and just grow as a player, because when he came into the league, he was pretty much just a scorer. And again, the playmaking rise from Jayson Tatum throughout the years, watching him evolve, has been super fun to watch. So hopefully this is another step in the right direction to him becoming a potentially MVP level guy. Because last year, as we all know, he was just outside of the top 5 for MVP finishing on the ballot. He averaged 30, almost 9 rebounds, and a little over 4 assists, about 4.5 assists. And if he maintains his point guard role, I bet the scoring takes a dip. If I had to predict the stat line, he'll probably be closer to like 25, 26, 9, and like 6.5 assists per game. Which, if the Celtics maintain a good record, maybe like top 3 in the East, that could easily be good enough to vault him into the MVP category, because he could be showcasing a new diverse set of skills, which the voters, eat up for dinner every time the voting comes around. So at the end of the day, I guess I am excited that the Celtics are willing to try something new. Again, I'm a little skeptical. I'm going to have to see it play out a little bit. I do believe in the talent that Jayson Tatum has to be a lead playmaker. I just hope the Celtics don't overwork him, because, again, Tatum's really young. He already has a ton of wear and tear in minutes played and games played throughout his career. And it's something that I love as a fan of the Celtics. It's really fun to watch him cook almost every night. But at a certain point, I am a little worried about his health and fatigue and all that stuff, because you need everyone fresh for the playoffs. And it's been shown time and time again. That's a must for a championship. And at the end of the day, that's all I want for the Celtics, is a championship. Anyway, that's enough for me for this video. As always, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see y'all in the next one.